You're watching the Defense Dynamics and I'm Danveer Singh from New Delhi. In this episode, we'll decode for you what is the meaning of Rudra Brigade announced by the Indian Army Chief as part of major modernization plan of the military strength. How the other powers like US and China have already carried out similar military reforms, and we'll also talk about contradictions of geopolitics. But before we dive in, these are the major defense headlines this week. DRDO has conducted 2 consecutive successful flight tests of Pralay missile on 28th and 29th of July of 2025 from Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Island off the coast of Odisha. Tejas Mark 1 Alpha enters final phase before Indian Air Force delivery with Astra missile test schedule. HAL has completed rollout after rigorous flight validation. Astra BVRAAM will enhance Tejas' long-range combat edge. NIP Limited signs a deal with Israel's Elbit to build Surya rocket system in India. The launcher boasts 300 kilometers range and universal modular firing capability. It strengthens Make in India and boosts India's precision strike arsenal. Rolls-Royce proposes joint engine development with HAL for CATS Warrior drones. India's UCAV is being upgraded to carry heavier payloads and advanced systems. A more powerful engine will boost performance and global collaboration prospects. INS Varsha, India's covert nuclear submarine base, nears completion of Andhra's coast. Built under Project Varsha, it boosts India's sea-based second strike capability. The facility cements India's position as nuclear maritime power. In a bold move towards modernizing India's military strength, the Indian Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi has announced the formation of a powerful new all-arms brigade named Rudra that is integrating multiple fighting units under one command. He made this announcement on 26th anniversary of Kargil Vijay Diwas, a day celebrated to commemorate Indian Army's victory over Pakistan Army by evicting them from the high-altitude heights of Kargil and Dras. In a significant shift towards an integrated battlefield approach, the Indian Army has launched a new fighting formation, the Rudra Brigade. This all-arms brigade brings together infantry, mechanized infantry, armored units, artillery, special forces, and even unmanned aerial systems, creating a lethal and a highly coordinated combat force.
आज की भारतीय सेना न केवल वर्तमान चुनौतियों का सफलतापूर्वक सामना कर रही
Today's Indian Army is not only successfully facing the current challenges, but we are constantly moving forward as a transforming modern and future-oriented power. Under this, a new all-brigade is being formed in the form of Rudra, which I have sanctioned yesterday, in which fighting components like infantry, mechanized infantry, armored units, artillery, special forces, aerial system will be put together and specially prepared, which will have logistic support and combat support involved.
और विशेष रूप से तैयार किया जाएगा जिसमें शामिल लॉजिस्टिक सपोर्ट और कॉम्बैट सपोर्ट।
Adding to this transformation, new Bhairav light commando battalions have also been formed for border shock operations, enhancing agility and surprise.
The Shaktiman regiment has been created in the same artillery, which will be equipped with drones and counter-drone equipment, and in every regiment. A Divyastra battery has also been developed, which will be a composite battery and will be equipped with these accessories.
With a continuous hostile environment along India's borders, the Army is focusing on infrastructure development, air defense modernization, and even heritage tourism in strategic areas. Marking Kargil Diwas, General Dwivedi paid tribute to the 1999 war heroes at the Kargil War Memorial in Dras. He recalled Operation Sindoor, a precision strike launched in May to dismantle Pakistani terror infrastructure following a deadly attack in Pahalgam.
In view of these things, our firepower will increase manifold in the coming days. Similarly, RBAI defense is being equipped with indigenous missile systems.
The army chief confirmed that retaliatory drone and missile strikes by Pakistan were effectively intercepted using India's S-400 air defense system, and the conflict ceased on May 10 after a ceasefire agreement.
With the induction of Rudra brigades and Bhairav commandos, the Indian Army is taking a decisive step towards future-ready technology-driven force, all while honoring its legacy of its heroes. Now let's understand the Indian Army's modernization in a larger global context. 3 armies, 3 continents, 1 mission, that is modernization. From Washington to Beijing and to New Delhi, some of the world's largest military forces are overhauling their structure, doctrine and manpower. But what's driving this change? Budget cuts, new threats, or the evolving nature of war? Let us unpack how US, Chinese and the Indian armies are reinventing themselves brigade by brigade, soldier by soldier. It began with a vision in 1999. United States Army Chief Eric Shensky pushed for a transformation that many resisted. But by year 2006, under General Peter Schumacher, the US Army underwent its most sweeping reorganization since World War II. Gone were the bulky divisions consisting of 15,000 troops. It came flexible, full spectrum, capable brigade combat teams with just about 4,000 troops. That included armored, striker and infantry, supported by aviation and sustainment brigades, a leaner, faster and globally deployable force.
But this transformation came at a cost. By the year 2013, 13 brigades were shut down and the army had to cut 80,000 soldiers. Why? Because it was simply too expensive. The US federal budget had to spend nearly $1.4 billion every year just to maintain 10,000 extra troops. As a result, the total size of the US Army dropped from 566,000 in 2011 down to 460,000 by 2017.
Still, the new structure promised better integration, doctrine-based operations through enhanced engineer, surveillance and sustainment capabilities. While the United States restructured under fiscal and operational pressures from across the Pacific, China's PLA began its own military slimming to rebalance its strategic priorities. In 2015, President Xi Jinping announced a historic cut of 3 lakh troops from People's Liberation Army, part of a broader effort to downsize the bloated land forces and strengthen cyber, naval and missile wings. China's reforms saw PLA ground forces drop below 1 million for the first time ever, shifting focus to cyber, space and missile dominance. The goal was futuristic, to have leaner, high-tech war-fighting capacity across all domains. And in India, reforms aren't just about budgets. They are about preparing for a 2.5 front war with Pakistan, China and the insurgency threats in the hinterland. India's answer to rising threats came in 2017 when Cabinet Committee on Security cleared the first phase of structural reforms based on Shaketkar Committee's 1999 approved recommendations. Downsizing of Indian Army followed, 57,000 troops were reduced, military farms closed and support units were trimmed. These reforms aim to enhance combat capability, and correct the tooth-to-tail ratio, from redeploying 31,000 civilian defense to optimizing repair and logistic chains. The Indian Army was preparing for high-stake warfare.
With simulators replacing live ammunition for initial training and Joint War College on the horizon, India is looking to modernize within its means. The ultimate aim: synergy across services, smarter procurement and a better combat edge.
From the Pentagon to the PLA headquarters and South Block in New Delhi, the armies are no longer defined by numbers alone. In the 21st century, firepower comes from flexibility, integration and technology. The battlefields may differ, but restructuring playbook looks remarkably similar. India is sharpening the tip of its spear. In a bold restructuring move, the Indian Army is rolling out integrated battle groups, or the Rudras as they would be called. Fast, flexible and combat-ready units designed for 21st century warfare. But what exactly are the IBGs? Why now, and how do they change India's battlefield readiness? Let's break it down. Let's try and understand how the IBG structure will broadly look like. The major component of this IBG would be infantry, of course. As you know, Indian Army, the infantry has around 27 regiments, and battalions will be pulled out of these various regiments to form the core of an IBG. Next would be armour. Since these will be small, mini offensive formations, the armour will generally comprise of tanks like Arjun and T-90. To support the moving armour and infantry, you require artillery. So artillery, modern artillery like ATACs or K Vajra will form the backbone of artillery in an IBG structure. It would also require air defense, and as you know, the air defense mobile platforms like Akash and V-Shorat will form the air defense backbone of these mini formations that will be flexible, agile and very swift. It will also have engineers to lay bridges, mine laying, demolition and various other engineering tasks during the progress of battle, and thereafter it will also have an integrated signals and logistics like as I mentioned, signals who provide communications, then ASC that provide rations and food, then ordnance, they provide ammunition, weapons, etc., and of course medical for casualty evacuation and treatment of the wounded in the C2 at the place of action. Think of an integrated battle group as a mini army. It's got everything it needs: infantry, tanks, guns, engineers and even logistics bundled into one battle-ready formation. And unlike traditional divisions that took days to mobilize, the IBGs are designed to move within hours.
I'm in conversation with Lieutenant General D.P. Pandey, who has been 15th Corps Commander, and he has also been Commandant of Army War College. Why Army War College is important today is because it is there where strategies are made on the drawing board, later on put to practice and test by the military, and they are converted to doctrines. So welcome to Defense Dynamics, General D.P. Pandey. What do you make out of Rudrization, and what is the announcement that Chief made about creating Rudra brigades? So could you just explain in a simplified manner, sir?
Yeah, firstly, thanks, Danvi, to be on your show. More importantly, I think we have served together multiple tenures in operations. So it's great to be with you. We are from the same battalion. And it's nice to see that you have grown up in this very important warfighting environment, which is called the narrative warfare. So coming on to this specific issue of Rudrization, you please understand that as warfare evolves, in fact, it used to evolve by after about half a century worth, and thereafter the pace picked up because technology allowed war fighting to keep on evolving at a rapid rate. And today what has happened is that with the current modernization happening, what is happening all over the place, the swift response which is required to beat the enemy's OODA loop and thereafter be able to punish with whatever you have in the shortest time frame requires a swift response mechanism to be put in place. Uh, our structures were pretty Second World War or what was there from independence onwards, and not much. While we have created a number of other formations, modern formations, make armored core formations and better artillery divisions and all, but what has happened is at tactical level for application of force, there is not a encompassing unit which is available to us. So Rudrazation allows us to get in variety of elements which are required to fight a comprehensive battle, starting from an infantry unit to an armored core element to mechanized infantry, an artillery element, and more importantly, they are able to get in unarmed aerial systems also incorporated today, which is the latest changing uh, technological intervention which has taken place in last decade or so. So what happens is that when you get all this together, it allows a formation commander, a brigade commander to be applied into a force, into an operation without looking backward for any kind of a support which is required for him. And this also entails a little element of integrated logistic setup which moves along this force wherever it's required. So it is high time that we evolve from large formations of divisions and above and allow a field formation to be applied in the shortest, swiftest possible manner to preempt the enemy and at times possibly go out into his own territory.
So why do we need IBGs now? Let's look at three big reasons. Firstly, the faster mobilization. Recall Operation Parakram in 2001, which revealed critical delays. It took almost a month to mobilize the Indian Army. IBG aims to fix that. Second is the limited wars, quick strikes. With nuclear-armed neighbor, India needs fast, limited responses. And thirdly, two-front threat, that is Pakistan to the west and China to the north. India needs agile formation across diverse terrain. Whether it is the snowbound heights of Ladakh or blistering Thar Desert, each IBG is mission specific. That means different strategies, weapons and mobility too.
So, sir, this Rudrazation that we are talking of, it is across the board, whether it is defensive formation or the offensive formation, be it in the plains or in the mountains and the high altitudes. Whole of the Indian Army is likely to go in this paradigm restructure, sir?
Yeah, I think what will happen is that it will be done stage-wise, and basic trials have been ongoing for quite some time, and they have been found to be successful, and that is why the chief has made this announcement. And I think initially, because each structure will have to be a slightly different mold, because deserts will require a different combination of an all-arms brigade, and so will be the case of the in case of mountains. So these structures will be different, and they'll eventually roll out over a period of time. I'm quite sure we are in advanced stages of rolling out these formations.
This IBG structure that we discussed will have inherent coordination and creasing out issues like intra-service coordination. Various arms and services will be there under one umbrella in one formation. So there has to be synergy and coordination. So this is going to be a challenge which will be creased out by carrying out various exercises as days go by. Then thereafter, all these formations, these mini formations would require very modern, ultra modern equipment. So that has to be brought in, that has to be catered for. Then we'll have logistic issues because these IBGs will be very fast moving, flexible, agile. So you will require a matching mobility for logistics, that is rations, ammunitions and various other support items that are required during the battle. Then, of course, to cater for all these things, that is modern equipment, modern logistics, you require a lot of budget. So budgetary constraints will also come by while structuring the Indian Army into IBGs or the Rudra brigades. India's integrated battle groups are a potent blend of strategy and speed, and they may well redefine how country fights and wins its wars. Faster, leaner, and mission-focused, integrated battle groups are more than just military reform. They are India's message to the adversaries: we are ready, and we are faster than ever before. Geopolitics, often framed as the noble pursuit of national interest, is looking less like chessboard and more like a stage play, a theatre where principles are props and power writes the script. Consider India, pressured by the United States for buying oil from Russia and threatened with secondary sanctions. Meanwhile, Europe, still buying Russian gas, but that's called supporting Ukraine, a strategic necessity of the West. A betrayal when India does it. It's not about morality, it's about who is in the room when the rules are written.
In the same month, the US condemned Pakistan-backed militants for the deadly Pahalgam terror attack. It also welcomed Pakistan's foreign minister to Washington with open arms. A handshake and a warning, a terrorist label and a diplomatic red carpet all at once is the oldest dance in diplomacy. Condemn the crime, dine with the criminal. With video journalist Sanjeev Sharma, Nancy Baloda for DD India.
Cambodia and Thailand borders just erupted into an armed clashes. They used air force and artillery which threatened a full-scale war. They were fighting over a Hindu temple contested by either side since the French drew the borders in 1907. Border tensions in Southeast Asia may seem like local disputes at first glance, but when you look deeper and closer, behind the scenes you'll find it is the United States and China backing the rival sides, vying for influence. Peace is just the rhetoric, power is actually the real play. First came fiery slogans, India out, then came the photo ops and diplomatic hugs. When alliances are built on expedience, today's enemy is tomorrow's partner. In the theatre of geopolitics, the question isn't who is right, it is who decides what right looks like. And until accountability takes center stage, the absurdity will only deepen. For now, global diplomacy isn't a rule book. It's a script rewritten, recast and rerun when powers demand it. India's military modernization reflects both strategic necessity and absurdity of geopolitics. As threat from China and Pakistan persists, New Delhi is investing in smarter force structures, advanced technology and joint operations. Reforms like the Shaketkar Committee recommendations aim to streamline manpower and enhance combat efficiency. Yet, while India eyes deterrence, regional adversaries exploit grey zone tactics, and global powers fuel arm race under guise of peace. The paradox lies in modernizing of security in the world where instability is often manufactured. In this theatre of power and paranoia, India's challenge is to modernize without falling into the traps of geopolitical lays. With this, we come to the end of this episode of Defense Dynamics. Thank you for joining us and do post your comments with hashtag DD with Danveer. See you next week decoding complex defense stories. Till then, goodbye and take care.